and wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is Wednesday. It's only Wednesday?
What?
I just said that out loud, and I'm like, it's only Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. How the heck are you? Hope you're awesome. Hope you slept well. Hope you have an incredible day today. We got to talk NBA free agency. I really want to talk Max Scherzer to the Padres at some point. If that happens before Friday's deadline, I give up. I mean, the Padres will have everybody, which is good because then the Dodgers will lose.
And then we can be bandwagon Padres fans. You know?
But but it's not bandwagon. You're such a cock. I've been a Padre fan for many years. Mainly thanks to Steve Garvey and his womanizing ways. We're not going to talk baseball today because why would we? We got to talk NBA draft, which is coming up tomorrow night. NBA free agency opens on Monday, but those deals are done already. The Monday is just the day that deals get announced. I think we all know that. So we'll talk about all of that. We've got to talk about this Simone Biles nonsense, which is just grotesque to me. It is shocking to me how many people in this country have a platform and choose to do no research and then call Simone Biles a sociopath. It's remarkable. So we'll talk about that. We've got to talk about crypto. We've got to talk about iPhones.
Crypto!
Because we all know that the supreme human beings use iPhones. The smarter, the better looking, the more attractive, the more intelligent.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
You know, the elites of the elites.
I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
They all use iPhones, and they filter their urine through iPhones.
God bless.
I'm not really sure why I said that, because my wife was just talking about Icarus. But anyway, the point is, the Russian Olympic Committee uses iPhones. Well, actually, no, they would use Androids. But anyway, the point is, listen. If you're not on an iPhone, you probably shouldn't listen to this show because we're supreme beings. The fifth element. Gabe Ledley says, let's crush it today, fellas. We intend on exactly that, which is why we're going to start with NBA draft and the Utah Jazz. MFers. I don't know. What you need to know about the NBA draft is that when you subscribe to this channel, you have a chance to win this Xbox Series X.
S.
Same thing. You have a chance to win this Xbox Series S, as in Sam.
Snake.
I was going to say sex, but this is a family show.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've said cock and sex now.
Anyway, kick it,
we can flow. Anyway, the point is you can win this Xbox Series S. All you have to do is hit subscribe, take a picture that you're subscribed, tag us on any social media platform, including Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok cock. What? I don't know. The point is, I'm the Monty Show, Monty, the Monty Show. My right ear is just like, holy cow, somebody's talking about me. The Monty Show, Monty, the Monty Show. Jake is SLC Supercars, and without further ado, let's talk about the NBA draft that is going to take place tomorrow. The Jazz have the 30th pick, and many want to know exactly what the Utah Jazz will do with that pick. The common theory is you're not going to get somebody that's a difference maker at 30. I would agree with that. So can you package that pick with Derrick Favors and unload his 2-year, $20 million deal, 19 to be specific, and try to find some cap space? Should you trade other assets? Should you trade players? Should you trade jingles? Should you trade Bojan Bogdanovic? What about the not defensive wizard in Royce O'Neal?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. And if I'm the Utah Jazz, Jake, I'm trying to trade that pick with Derrick Favors to create cap space.
Yeah, I think that's the pragmatic decision. I think that, being that you're picking 30th, you don't have anybody that you would get in that slot is somebody that you are going to have to develop. A name that's been floating around is Quentin Grimes. He's a nice little player, but at the end of the day, anybody you get there, you're going to have to develop. And I don't know mentality-wise that this organization really has that mindset. I think we've talked at length about how a lot of the organizations in the West have developed their own guys. I mean, obviously the Suns and the Warriors are kind of leading the way on that, but at the end of the day, that really is the blueprint for success. So I think the problem is that the Jazz really aren't even in a position to just stand pat and draft at 30 because of the cap situation. So I tend to agree. I do think the reason that we haven't heard any rumblings about them in free agency is because I think that their focus is getting some flexibility in their cap, and then depending on what they're able to get done in the draft in terms of cap space, then they're going to start to kind of explore the market, see what they could get done. So that path makes sense to me. I do hope that Ryan Smith and company are very aggressive. I do hope that they work hard to get good value back for that 30th pick and Derrick Favors. Like I don't want them to do the deal just for like an average value back. I'm not saying that they got to go ahead and try to get a top 10 pick or something or anything like that. I just think overall you just don't want to make mistake after mistake after mistake, I guess is what I'm getting at here. It's very important that when you make these kind of deals that you know what you're going to do, with what you're getting back. And I hope that what they get back allows them to do something productive.
Yeah, and I think that when you talk about being productive, I think the most important part of this conversation very clearly is the Utah Jazz have to create cap space. It's pretty clear. Whether we agree with it or not, there's no doubt that the Utah Jazz want to retain Mike Conley. And I think we know now, based on the point guard market, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but I think we know now that the point guard market is going to be very expensive. You're going to be in the mid-20s per season to get any of the top-tier point guards, and that includes Mike Conley. And that's probably the minimum that you're going to wind up spending. And the guy that's probably going to really determine what the Jazz do is likely a guy like a Lonzo Ball, a Kyle Lowry. If Kyle Lowry truly ends up in a sign and trade with Philadelphia and he signs for 25 to 30 million per season, the Utah Jazz are in real trouble. And I just don't know how you justify, Jake, paying a guy in Mike Conley who's constantly injured and has missed really critical games over the last 2 years. I don't know how you justify paying him $25 to $30 million per season, because it feels like that's where the market's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no question that's where the market's going to be. And I think that, again, I know for those of you who listen every single day, this conversation is probably a little bit repetitive, but when I think we kind of put it in the spotlight of the draft, you start to understand why these decisions on Conley and some of these other players on your roster are so damn important. I mean, think about it. If let's say they don't trade and they just draft with the 30th pick, and they re-sign Mike Conley. Well, what have you just done? You've basically strangled your cap even more, right? You're paying more luxury tax because you re-signed Mike Conley for the money that he wanted, and you just picked up another player that you're likely not going to develop. And I don't mean that in a way of like me hating on the Jazz, but I think we could all agree their track record says that they don't really develop a lot of their players. I mean, Don has turned into a nice player, but Rudy hasn't really developed all that much, in my opinion. He's always been a great defensive player, but we don't really have a lot of offensive development there.
But so you clarified that. I think Rudy Gobert has developed a lot. I think he has shown almost no development offensively. I think when you're an 8 to 10 foot tall guy, I joke, when you're a 7-footer, you should be able to dunk. And if you can't, you're probably not in the NBA. His development has been defensively. His development has been, mentally. But I would agree with you that offensively he has not developed. So are you considering, is he a hindrance?
I just think, yeah, I mean, and you could paint the picture that way. I think that Rudy Gobert is a player that is not the most flexible of players on your roster. He basically has one purpose, and that's to play defense. That's what he does. And I think that being that he doesn't have an offensive game, that he doesn't really, he can't go and get his own like some of these other guys that we talk about so often, like the Jokers and the Embiids and the Karl Anthony Towns and all that. Being that he can't do that, I think for the Utah Jazz, you have to prioritize more flexibility on offense. I mean, that's really what hurt them in these playoffs. Sure, everyone's going to point to, the Terrence Mann, Rudy Gobert situation that ended their season essentially, but that's not why that was a problem, right? That was only a problem because the Jazz couldn't keep up scoring. One, because of injury, but two, because you didn't have the flexibility in terms of the players that were on the floor. So I just think overall with the draft, to bring this home, like with the draft, if you're going to make trades and you're going to make moves to, try to gain some flexibility in your cap by dumping the Favors contract, I would hope that you would do that with the goal of trying to get either, again, someone who can play more flexible offense or who can bring you really elite perimeter defense. You have to have one of those two. You cannot have a situation where you have neither of those and you're trying to be a championship caliber team, because at that point you're just not a championship caliber team.
Don't you mean neither of those things? Anyway, my point is, listen, I think it's interesting you go back to the Terrence Mann thing with the Clippers in that game, because I do think that's the moment that may win the Jazz 3 rings in 10 years. May. Because they're capable of that. And I know I've said that, and I know that Twitter was all abuzz with the fact that I said that yesterday, but if the Jazz are smart in this free agent draft window, I do think that the Jazz have an opportunity here to absolutely put themselves with the Phoenix Suns, with the LA Lakers. I think there's no question that the Utah Jazz have the opportunity to remake their cap and compete in the middle of the Western Conference. If you come back intact, largely intact, Mike Conley or not, you're going to be mediocre because Conley's going to play 35, 45 games, and you're going to ask Donovan Mitchell to carry this team, period. That's what you're doing. Let's not forget that you have the Gobert contract on the books. Donovan Mitchell's contract's coming on. You're handicapped in that you're going to pay Mike Conley a lot of money, or maybe you just shouldn't. And I'll continue to say that. Paying Mike Conley a lot of money lessens your likelihood to win a championship. It really is that simple. So what they do tomorrow night and what they do leading up to the draft and their decision to trade or keep the 30th pick, I don't think it's much of a decision. I think you need to trade it because you need to offload that talent. The right thing to do here for the Utah Jazz, trade the 30th pick and one of those players to get yourself salary relief. Do not bring somebody back. Do not do a buyout. Trade the pick with a player and gain yourself some salary cap relief. To me, that seems like the obvious pragmatic move here.
Yeah, I would agree, but I think that move doesn't really do anything for you unless you let Conley go away, right? Unless you let him walk. Because think about it. I mean, Favors' contract is one that you'd really like to offload, mainly because he's pretty much done. I mean, he can still give, a lower-end team some minutes and things. He can still be that kind of guy. But for your purposes as a championship club, he's done. You need to move on from Favors. So my point here is that let's say that they do make the trade, but they re-sign Mike Conley. What did you really do? You wasted your time because you dumped Favors' deal, but you just brought Conley's money back onto the books. So that's why I say you can't have that situation can't happen where you get rid of Favors, you trade down in the draft, and then you re-sign Conley. That doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. So that's why I say we can't forget that we're in this whole narrative about how the Jazz have a new owner and we're in a new time and they got rid of Dennis Lindsey and the mentality's changed. Well, let's see if it's actually changed or not, because again, I don't like to give teams slack, and I think the Jazz get a lot of slack in this town. If they just do the same thing that they've been doing the last 10 years, nothing's going to change. And so that's why I think this draft not only is important for their cap, but I also think it's important for the perception of who Ryan Smith is and what the deal actually is going to be in his ownership time.
Well, and I think the other conversation is who are you truly trying to trade? My personal belief is I just think that there's a lot of smoke out there, and I don't think there's a lot of fire behind it. I think the Jazz are not going to make a foundational deal. It's just my opinion. I think the guy that likely gets traded is Jordan Clarkson and hopefully Derrick Favors. I don't think that you're going to trade any of your core pieces. I really don't. I think there's value in Jordan Clarkson around the league. I think if you end up moving a guy like, I don't view Royce O'Neal as a core player here. I don't view him as a significant player in Utah. Yeah. I don't view Royce O'Neal as somebody that you have to keep or, is he important? Sure. Is he going to get you the odd rebound? Yes. Does he play good defense? He plays average defense. There's this belief system that, Royce O'Neal's an elite on-ball defender. He's not. And I'm telling you, the guys that are expendable on this roster, I look at Derrick Favors. I look at a guy like a Jordan Clarkson, Royce O'Neal, any of the young guys. Certainly, you would think that guys like the Onis of the world, the Forests of the world, depending on what happens with his deal, like those are the guys that are expendable. Quinn's not going to play a rookie.
Yeah.
So drafting at that 30th spot doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when you can leverage it. Guys that have value on this roster, the Bogdanovic of the world. I don't think Joe Ingles has a whole lot of value. I think we're seeing again in the Olympics that Joe should have taken the summer off because he looks tired. He looks slow to me. And I'm not saying that Joe Ingles has ever been a lightning fast player, but this is an ineffective Joe Ingles. This is a guy that you don't have to account for. This version of Joe Ingles is not going to kill you.
Yeah.
If he gives you 10, 12 points, are you really getting value out of him? I could make the argument that he's not. And if Joe Ingles is going to be here for $13 million, he's going to in my opinion, he's going to wind up playing the Derrick Favors role. Give the guy a few minutes a night, 20 minutes a night, and figure it out.
Yeah.
He's going to have games where he scores 30 because he isn't going to miss from three. Okay, I'm good with that. Joe Ingles is a glue guy, great in the locker room. Donovan and he are close. All right, I'm good with him being here.
Yeah.
It's $13 million. I'm good with it. Right? I want Bojan Bogdanovic to stay as long as other guys go. If Jordan Clarkson's here, and again, this is probably too deep, but if Jordan Clarkson's here, I don't see that Bojan Bogdanovic's value is what it could be. If Jordan Clarkson's not here, Bojan Bogdanovic has a lot of value on this roster.
Yeah, I think the way that we can frame this with a question for Jazz fans is just simply, who are the core players that you want to play next season with, and who do you want to put around them in a developmental sense? Who are the younger guys that you want to put your time into, to try to make them better, and then who are the guys that are going to get the lion's share of the minutes? So obviously, it goes without saying that Don and Rudy are your two building blocks. And then, I would love to see Bogey here. The problem is, the issue is that he's one of the few guys on this roster who is not on a big deal or a long-term deal and definitely has trade value. That's the tough part about the league and where the Jazz are at. I mean, again, I think we can all agree that Bogey did a great job contributing this season. Yes, there was some inconsistencies shooting, but other than that, he was definitely a big-time contributor for this team. And that's the tough part. That builds trade value in the offseason. So we'll see. My opinion is I would go Bogey, Don, and Rudy if I could. And to your point, I agree with you. Yeah, guys like Jordan Clarkson. There's no doubt that Jordan Clarkson has a lot of trade value in the league. This is the sixth man of the year, dude. This is somebody that you could move and get some serious value back for. So Clarkson, Favors. I'm not on the keep Joe Ingles bandwagon if it's convenient and it's for $13 million, sure. But if he needs to be in a package, I'm definitely moving him. Yeah,
and I just think that you have so much more flexibility going forward. And it's what keeps you competitive. It's why the Lakers, the Celtics, even the Clippers, the Knicks, the teams that are in big markets have an advantage because they can afford to pay the luxury tax. The Warriors, the Jazz, the Spurs, the Blazers, teams in those smaller markets. Memphis comes to mind. Orlando comes to mind. You can't afford to pay the luxury tax. And just looking at what you have committed to the 2022-2023 season, you look at Donovan Mitchell coming up to $30 million. Rudy's going to be $38 million. Next year, Bogey's $19.5 million. I mean, that's really where you're at. I mean, because I would think no matter what, Derrick Favors won't be on this team. Yeah. Royce O'Neal's not worth $9.2 million. I mean, I think you just at some point have to make the decision to move on. And I think that starts tonight, tomorrow night. The next, I would say, 36 hours are critical for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of moving season. And if you're the Jazz, I would love to see you trade that 30th pick in Derrick Favors to begin a retool of your roster.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see. Now, does that happen? I don't know. Probably not.
And I think these first moves.
Stop the show.
Oh, boy.
Grocock is back.
What?
Corey Grocock
we have
is
a
alive.
Grocock sighting. Uh-oh.
Grocock, I don't think you understand. You get talked about on this show pretty much every day.
Yeah.
He says, hey, fellas, sorry I haven't been watching. Just very late in Australia.
Grocock, excuses, bro. Your name means that you have to be here.
I mean, listen, and let's, I don't even know. Hey, Siri, what time is it in Australia?
Oh, it's Joe Ingles time.
Let's see what she says.
Hello.
In Canberra, Australia, it's 11:08 p.m.
It's only 11 o'clock at night, man.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Are you kidding me? Cocks come out at night.
Yeah.
He says, hey, fellas, sorry I haven't been watching very late in Australia. Good to see you, my friend. You are a legend on this show, and I think this is only like your third appearance ever. James Knight says, Jingles and Bojan to Portland for McCallum, which then makes me a Blazers fan. See, this C.J. McCallum reference and rumor has been around for a long time. If you're the Utah Jazz, are you trading Joe Ingles and Bojan Bogdanovic to the Blazers for C.J. McCallum? I mean, there's value in that.
There's risk in that, though.
But are you going to, think about that on both sides. That trade doesn't make a lot of sense, to me anyway. Tanner Plummer says, yesterday the Jazz YouTube channel put out a video of Gobert's top plays.
Yes. One
of the plays was him making a standard jump shot near the free throw line. I laughed out loud when I saw that because he never does that in games.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Casey Finlinson says, 3 days finishing with no cell or Wi-Fi is good for the soul. Good to be back with you guys. Wow, I bet that was a cleanse.
Yeah, wait, so was that a choice or were you
3
like
days fishing with no cell?
Oh, fishing.
Yeah, I said finishing. Fishing with no cell or Wi-Fi. Man, that would be amazing. He also says, and just in time for fall football to get running.
Let's go.
Right. Jeremy Bolton says, wait. Grocock, you're back?
Yep.
And all we get is an apology. Correct. Brylark says, Grocock, so good to see you. We can finally call off the search and rescue team. Yeah, the Grocock, I don't think you understand that, we have tried to deploy James Knight, although James won't leave the house ever. There are rumors that James Knight is duct taped to a Lazy Boy recliner.
Who does that?
Yeah, I don't know. That smells like 10-year-old sweat bombs. James wouldn't leave the house to check on your safety and sanity. Sorry, bud. We tried to send somebody. That is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But thanks for being back.
Yeah, good to see you, Grocock. Yeah. When are you giving away the Xbox?
Yeah, did we cross the line yet? Wait, did Grocock ask that?
Grocock. No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
We did. Although we should just by default. I don't know if everybody's on board with this, and maybe some are, and maybe some are not. I think by default we should probably just give the Xbox Series S to Grocock.
I think we need to know first if Grocock is actually a gamer or not. I mean, if this guy's saying he's got to get to bed by 11, which by the way I appreciate as someone who gets up at 4:45 every day.
Yeah,
I get the grind.
Yeah,
but I mean,
what time do you actually get out of bed?
Like 4:50.
Yeah. Me too.
4:45 is just a face slap every morning. I mean, the alarm goes off and you're like, damn, dude, already?
Dude, I was up. I slept really well last night. I went to bed around 10:30 after FaceTiming you and reading a dad joke and then hanging up on you, which I enjoy quite a bit. But that's just me. I slept until 1:12 when I had to take a conference call with Late Night P Guy. And then I woke up at 4:43 and I was like, damn, I needed those 2 minutes. Because my alarm goes off at 4:45 every day. And it is, It is a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that. Richard Wingett. Resign Mike Ingles to L.A. for Kuz in the 22nd pick. Yeah, the Lakers will trade Kyle Kuzma to the Jazz. That seems likely. Trade 30 in Faves for cap relief. I think you're wrong to let Mike Conley go. Okay. Dane Cowan says, just sent the pick, and I'm even down to let Grocock take it. Just sounds legendary. I agree. James Knight says, unlike you, Monty, who has his hands on his smoker all the time.
Hey.
Okay, is that a reference to my man parts or to the actual Traeger? Because, no, I'm not. No.
I hit dingers.
No, I'm not doing it. I love you, James Knight. See, that's why James is so valuable to the show. How much value is in Kyle Kuzma? Like,
not Jason Tatum value, I can tell you that.
Well, somebody forgot to tell Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the Lakers have been shopping around, a Kyle Kuzma and a pick deal. There's even been rumors that they offered Kuzma and Cantavius to a couple of teams for some picks. So, I think they're definitely trying to move them. I think the problem is that everybody knows that the Lakers, want to get rid of him, so the Lakers don't have leverage, and they've done a poor job getting Kyle Kuzma developed to a point where he can bring consistent value every night. So I think he's viewed as a project a little bit as well, like as someone that you still have to kind of give those trash minutes to, and understand he's not going to be great for a little while.
Now, Ace and I generally, Ace, the listener on this show, who is currently banned from, I don't think I told this story.
What happened?
Ace is banned. YouTube blocked Ace. He's in timeout.
Really?
Yeah, like he's
so
not.
How does this? I know we've gone over this before, but I just want everybody to understand that we're not blocking people or whatever. So how does it work?
No. So if you comment and you like curse or if you say something afoul of the,
I don't give a baker's fuck.
Yeah, if you say something afoul of the terms of service of YouTube, they will filter that comment. If you get crazy, and Ace went on an F-bomb MF-er tear yesterday, and so he apparently got blocked.
Here's what's going to happen, Tonto.
He apparently got blocked from YouTube. So now he's taken to the... And by the way, everybody that sends me disappearing messages, screw you. Like, I hate that so much. Because now, by the way, I don't remember what he said, but Ace essentially said, there's been more cock on this show the last 2 days and he talked about relations with his wife. Mm-hmm.
People are misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Yeah, Growcock is somebody's name. You cannot make that up.
Yeah.
Anyway. But Ace, I appreciate the thoughts of the comment that there has been more cock talk on this show the last 2 days. Anyway.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Gabe Levely says, wait, Growcock is back, and did you say we have a Dick Wingett in here? Richard Wingett. Dick Wingett. I like it. Way to go, Gabe.
Well done, Gabe.
I like it.
Well done, my friend.
Red Heart Norvis, I agree that it's wrong to let Conley go, but it also is not right to keep him at 20+ million.
Yeah.
There is some Japanese writing, and it says 3+ love.
Okay.
All right. Hey, we appreciate that.
Did we cross 1,500 yet?
I don't think so. James Knight says, give me a rack attack on the safe return of Growcock, Jake.
Okay, let me...
he wants his...
Here.
The rack attack!
There it is. We are at $14.99.
Come on, people. Get it done.
Wow, so we picked up
Get
like
it done.
20...
Yeah, we did.
16. We picked up a lot of subscribers the last day.
Well, when Growcock comes back, people show up,
Yeah, the ladies turn out for Growcock.
Yeah, we get it.
Anyway, the point is, we're going to give this Xbox away as soon as we get to 1,500, so we'll probably announce it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I cannot see... Again, Bradley said, "See you, boo boo." Who
the fuck is that guy?
I don't know, and your comment got filtered. On cue, YouTube, appreciate that. Once and for all on point guards, because I think this is an important discussion in the draft.
Yeah.
I think that point guards are going to be one of the most important positions in free agency this year. And if you think about the names that are out there, the Knicks, the Bulls, the Heat, the Mavericks, the Pelicans, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Jazz, every good team in the West needs a point guard, and some contenders in the East as well. And then you think about some of the names, Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, Chris Paul certainly is out there. You look at the fact that Eric Bledsoe already got dealt. I think that you are seeing that you're going to have significant movement in that market. And I think really the Phoenix Suns are one of the most important teams in that, because let's not also forget DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges are going to get paid. That's a huge discussion. Devin Booker has about $130 million remaining on his deal. And you're looking at paying Chris Paul $44 million next season for a player option.
Yeah.
I think Lonzo Ball is going to be the point guard that's going to be the tipping point in the point guard market. I think Lonzo Ball is a guy that I put a ton of value on. One, simply because it's hard to find a guy that will go back to the lab every single day and change his jump shot and then shoot a high percentage afterward.
Yeah.
I look at what Lonzo did, and I think it speaks volumes about his want to. I look at the fact that Zion Williamson runs things in New Orleans, and Zion has made it pretty clear he wants Lonzo Ball back. Does that mean Lonzo stays? I don't know. He's a restricted free agent, but the Pelicans have pretty much made it be known if he's the guy that gets that $25, $30 million offer sheet from the Chicago Bulls, who Lonzo has said he'd like to play for, if the Bulls hand him a $30 million sheet, he's gone. He's not going back to New Orleans. He's available is what that's telling you.
And if he gets 30, I mean, what are these other guys going to get?
Well, and this is why I think this is an important conversation for Dennis Schroeder. What if Dennis Schroeder is the first point guard to sign a deal?
Mm-hmm.
And that deal's $29 million.
Yeah.
What do the Jazz do? Because they're screwed. I mean, if you think about this in the parlance and in the framework of talking about bringing Mike Conley back, think about it this way. If a guy like a Dennis Schroeder gets a $30 million deal, well, now Lonzo Ball, who is twice the point guard that Dennis Schroeder is, different style, by the way, but I'd rather have Lonzo Ball all day. What does that do to Lonzo Ball's value?
Up.
$35 million. Well, what does that do to Kyle Lowry's value with a ring?
Up.
What does that do to Mike Conley's value? Well, it probably prices him out of the Jazz's ability to re-sign him.
What does that do to Reggie Jackson?
Who made $1 million last year to play for the Clippers. Reggie Jackson, who arguably was the central figure in knocking the Utah Jazz out of the playoffs, made $1 million last year. That's what they paid him. And they begged him to come out of retirement to do it.
And now he's definitely going to get paid.
I mean, this is why I'm saying, would everybody like to have Mike Conley back for the Jazz? Sure. And I'd like to be retired and a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, you know what Mike Conley is? Mike Conley is a new car that you shouldn't buy. Isn't that what Mike Conley is?
Yes, I would agree.
Mike Conley is the guy. Mike Conley is the car that you want to get because you love the car, right? But at the same time, we both know that monthly car payment is going to kick your ass month after month for like 5 years. And so Mike Conley is not somebody that they should bring back. It has nothing to do with the on the floor stuff. I mean, yes, the injury conversation is always going to be there with him, but at the end of the day, it's just math. I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't think that unless, again, this is a huge caveat, unless he just wants to come back to Utah and this is where he wants to be, which is not the case. This is not what we've seen in the offseason based on what his wife is posting about on Instagram, based on the fact that we haven't seen the, hey, I can't wait to come back to Utah, or I'm going to try to come back kind of post or media presence. We haven't seen any of that. The common belief is Mike Conley is going to test the market. Mike Conley is going to see what he can get.
But why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I agree. At his age and at where he's at in his career, why would you not? Why would you not try to get, the bag once again? I mean, I know this is definitely under the radar, and I don't know how many people saw this. Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals just signed a 5-year deal at his age.
A crazy amount.
5 years at his age. That tells you just how willing teams are to pay for quality position. So that's what I'm saying with Mike Conley. He's going to get paid, and that's why I just don't think that this whole narrative about should they or shouldn't he, That's not what we're talking about.
No.
It's is he willing to come back at a reasonable number?
Will he?
Yeah.
Red Heart Nervous says, Mr. Growcock, I have a friend named Suck Deep. You should meet.
I want it.
The Japanese writer. That's your name, because I can't read Japanese, even though I have the symbol for courage and strength on my arm. It says Cavs and the number 30 for Kevin Love. So trade the number 30 pick to the Cavs for Kevin Love.
No.
Problem is, I think Kevin Love is making a crazy amount of money, yo.
Yeah.
Kevin Love wouldn't be bad. I mean, he's always hurt. I mean, that's really the issue, right? Is that Kevin Love doesn't play.
I want everybody to understand that your ideas aren't bad, but I want you to understand
They're not good.
How the reason all these ideas won't work is because of the decisions Dennis Lindsay made with these contracts.
Sorry, I looked up Kevin Love's contract and I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
$31.2 million.
Bro.
Nah, I'm fine.
Bro.
Oh my God.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh my God. I'll take Larry Nance at $11 million though. Like, are you kidding? No, man. I ain't doing that. Block Rush says, I really like Luka Garza at 30. Corey Growcock says, boys. I play 2K all the time. Love Park. Also love Fortnite and Rocket League. The Xbox looks good.
Okay.
So Corey Growcock is now openly lobbying to be the one who gets the Xbox Series S.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't think we can just hand it to somebody, but,
I mean, we could put it to the vote of the people, but
I put it. Hey, if the people in the comments want Growcock to get the Xbox, we'll print the label in like 5 minutes. It's fine. We'll do it.
If 10 people comment just the word Growcock right now, 10 people
in the comments,
just write the word Growcock, Grocock. If you
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
oh,
Michael Burton, the first one in to type the word Growcock.
What's an erection?
9 more to go. If we get 9 more Growcocks in the comment,
get the Growcock train going.
8 more to go.
Let's go.
Jello Parachi says Growcock. Growcock says, come on, boys. 8 more to go. If we get 10 Growcocks,
yeah,
it's his. Dane Cowan says, as Growcock goes and makes 10 accounts win.
There you go.
Exactly right. 7 to go. John
Let's
Doe.
go.
John Doe. 7 Growcocks left. There you go. We'll see.
Wow.
If not, we'll pull a name tomorrow morning. and I would think. I would hope that we would pick up 1 subscriber in the next 24 hours. We average about 10.
Yeah.
We average about 10. So Richard Dick Wingit says, Big D here. Please tell me who you replace Conley with. Come on, boys. Austin Lewis says, don't do it. Gabe Ledley says, grow cock. 6 to go. The thing is that I don't, replacing Mike Conley is not as simple as, hey, let's just plug in another point guard. My whole theory, and if I were Ryan Smith, here's what I would do. I would suffer this year. You're going to make the playoffs. I would keep, and this is just me, I would keep Rudy, Don, and Bogey. Mm-hmm. That's my 3. Everybody else is out. I would trade Conley. I would trade Jingles. I'd trade Favors. I would keep Elijah Hughes. He would be my guy. I would absolutely use those 4 guys, and then let's figure it out.
So with Conley, though, in terms of, are you, because right now he's not on their books.
Right? I would
right?
not bring him back.
Okay.
I would not bring him back.
Yeah.
Because a year from now, I want ultimate salary cap flexibility so that I can move on. And to answer your question directly, I'd have those 4 as my core, and I would round this roster out because as long as you have Don, Rudy, and Bogey, you're going to make the playoffs.
I think you need to add somebody a point guard. Like the reason that we both like Lonzo so much is not because the hype around him or anything like that. If you go on YouTube and you just search like Lonzo Ball highlights, you will see that he's somebody who really likes to push the pace. And oftentimes, if you go back, obviously all of our shows are posted on the channel. If you go back to when the Jazz were playing, I believe we talked about a lot in the Grizzlies series. When the Jazz play with a lot of pace and they get up the floor quickly, it often leads to the bogey three in the corner or these wide open looks for this team. And so the problem is with when Mike went out, the team really slowed down its pace on offense. That's why I like Lonzo. The problem is, again, as we were just alluding to, Lonzo's price is going to be really high.
Really high.
So it's candies and nuts if you're going to let Mike walk and then you go and sign Lonzo.
Yes.
I mean, it is an improvement in my opinion, but at the end of the day, that still doesn't help your cap. So I just don't think that, again, this year is the year to be going out and making major signings like that. I think the situation you're in is you see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is cap flexibility next year, and you've got a couple of these hurdles you just got to get over and a couple of these tough choices. And if they do that, I'm telling you, I agree. If they make these tough decisions now, okay, then I can agree they're in a position to win 3 in like 6-7 years.
Yeah, and I think that's why I would say, as far as point guard and how you address that, I would be perfectly fine with an Austin Rivers level player for one season. Because I think then you're going to have some ability to make free agent decisions. I think you will have acquired draft assets that you can either pick with or trade. I just think you have to, if you're the Jazz, you have to suffer in the short term to thrive in the long term.
Yes.
And that's something that teams like the Golden State Warriors have figured out. That's things like, I look at, again, I point to teams that have won, like the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks did it the right way. They drafted and were pragmatic in trades and development. That's who you need to be. You have not drafted well, and you have not historically developed well. Yeah. That all has to change now. And if a guy like Elijah Hughes can step in there and play meaningful wing minutes, that solves a lot of problems for you because you're not athletic enough on the wing, which is a problem that you're going to have to solve. I think if you look at some of the free agents who are out there, I think those solutions are out there in the short term. But I would go find a point guard that wants to be on a playoff team, and those guys are out there. And I think you wind up splitting your mid-level and using some cap space that you created by making deals with those guys on the roster.
Yeah.
So that's how I would handle it. That's just my opinion. Mike Conley is that old Camaro with custom paint. He is. You love it, and you don't want to give it up because you had it as a kid, but eventually the transmission goes out.
Yeah.
You just can't keep relying on old broken-down players, especially not if it's going to take $50 million. What's again, and I feel like we ask this question every day, what's too much for Mike Conley? 2-year deal. Total value of a 2-year deal.
Low 30s. It's too much.
I would say $30 million over 2 years, guaranteed, is as far as I'm willing to go.
Yeah, with where they're at with their cap.
That's it.
But I think realistically, his value, is $20 to $25 million a year. And again, that's with the caveat of none of these other guys are getting ridiculous contracts, which we both know is going to happen. I mean, somebody every single year gets a contract that's way over what they're actually worth.
Yeah, Biscuit on Twitter wants to know, why do you hate Mike Conley so much? What did he ever do to you or your dog?
We don't hate Mike Conley, Brody. We don't. I mean, we don't. We don't hate Mike. We just are. We're realistic about the cap.
Listen, you have a very small window in time here with Gobert and Donovan. They're both healthy. They're both probably not at their. Hopefully, they're both not at their peak or their ceiling.
No, Donovan has more for sure.
Donovan for sure. I just don't know what Rudy's capable of offensively. He's not going to get a lot of development because he's in the Olympics for France, so he's going to be in that system for a long time. It's not that I hate Mike Conley. I just think that the Jazz have to do better. That's the problem, I guess. I think Jazz fans don't value the Jazz at the level that Laker fans do. The Laker fans expect to have the best players all the time. You look at these teams around the league that win consistently, they expect to win consistently, and it's a massive issue when you don't. The Jazz fans don't expect to have the best players, and they don't expect to compete for a championship every year. And it's largely because you got lulled into, oh, man, we're good. This is you got lulled into reading the local paper and listening to a lot of the local pundits. Oh, this team's good. This team's good. They're great. Oh my God. Well, they're not. They're not. They're a great regular season team.
And everybody said we were crazy.
And everybody said we're haters and we're clickbaiting. I'm telling you, if you listen to this show, we'll tell you when they're ready to go. Every time the Jazz make a move, you know it's going to be talked about right here on this show. And I'm telling you right now, if you bring this team back intact, including Mike Conley, you're not going to compete for a championship. Because the Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, the Blazers, Portland. I would think the Blazers are going to make some changes here. Like, I'm telling you right now.
Buddy Hield's going to be going somewhere.
This conference is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bolton says the Jazz were great. We didn't get to see the full healthy Jazz team in the playoffs. Well, part of the problem is you have players who can't stay healthy. You're relying on older players, Mike Conley and Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles was frankly out of gas.
Yeah. I mean, health is a big factor in competing for a championship. It always has been and always will be.
Yeah. Notice you don't blame Joe Ingles for playing in the Olympics the way you do other players. Why?
We have, not today.
But no, listen, I don't blame Joe Ingles for playing in the Olympics. Why? Because Joe Ingles is in the twilight of his career. If he doesn't play for Team Australia now, when will he? When's he going to get another opportunity to do that? But I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where are we at on Grocock count?
We are stuck at 4.
Okay.
He needs 6 more.
Okay. Well, just don't steal the election here, Grocock. Get your votes
easy.
legit.
Why? Dick Wingett says you have 3 years of Don. You can't waste 1 day of them. Totally agree.
Exactly.
You can't sign Lonzo. Hey, I have a good one. Watch some basketball. Okay. Well, we're not saying that the Jazz should sign Lonzo Ball. I don't think anybody, neither one of us have said that.
Here's the classic. You guys don't watch basketball guy.
Yeah. The way that Lonzo Ball relates to the Utah Jazz is he's likely going to be the guy that's going to set the monetary market for point guards. Because he is going to sign an offer sheet the first 5 seconds it's available. I guarantee you it's drawn up already.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball knows exactly what offer sheet he's going to sign and how much it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's how this whole process plays out.
Very
I hope
simple.
everyone understands that. Come Monday, all these deals are already done. They're just going to be official on Monday.
Yeah, I think that's what you're waiting for with the Jazz. The Jazz are not going to be in the Lonzo Ball market.
No. My
point is, the Jazz are not going to be in the Kyle Lowry market, the Chris Paul market. They're going to be in one market, and it is Mike Conley. And the question is, how much is it going to cost to be in that market? Are they going to offer him a hometown discount, or are they throwing a home run at him?
Yeah.
My guess is it's home run instead of hometown. Those other point guards will set like Kyle Lowry talking about how he'll accept a sign and trade at a minimum of $25 million per season.
Yeah.
Shocking and terrifying if you're a Jazz fan.
Yep.
Because if this Jazz team pays Mike Conley 2 years and $50 million, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed. It's over. I mean, you will not win a championship in the next 5 years. If you choose to re-sign Mike Conley for anything more than 2 years, $30 million total, you're not going to win a championship in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
You're just not. Jeremy Bolton makes it 5. I believe that's 5 Grococks.
Okay.
Halfway home.
Okay. Keep
2.
Yeah.
3. 4, 5. Yeah. Brylark. It's 5. You're halfway home, man. You're halfway home. Michael Burton says, come on, guys, let him win. Most of you won't win anyway. Wow.
That's cold.
Wow.
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Wow. Block Rush says, I think the next step in Don's development is for him to play point guard. He played on the ball a lot at Louisville. Yeah, and the issue with that in the NBA is that makes you much more defensible. It makes it easier for the Clippers to double team you on the other side of half court, so you have to give the ball up. It's what we saw that the bubble.
That's what they did to him.
Yeah, I mean, in the bubble, that's why Mike Conley took that game winner. Like, I look at the guys who have done that, the Jason Tatums, the Devin Booker, the Donovan Mitchells. It makes it a lot more difficult to be effective, especially because when you bring the ball up all the time, it's much more of a toll.
Yeah, it's John Morant.
Much more.
Right?
The question is, did Monty take the bait? Yes, he did. On what? I don't understand what that means. Anyway, there you have it. Hey, I want to switch gears real quick. It's related to, breaking news out of the NFL. Lamar Jackson dealing with issues related to COVID-19 will miss practice today. No word on if he is vaccinated or not. Man, this COVID thing in the NFL is getting crazy.
Yep.
The NFL flagged Lamar Jackson's latest COVID-19 test. They are still trying to process and evaluate the results. Jackson tested positive for COVID in November. With Jackson's absence from practice, the Baltimore Ravens are down to Trace McSorley and Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley.
Wow. Utah Ute, Tyler Huntley. This thing in the NFL with COVID testing,
it's legit, man.
I mean, that's really difficult. I don't know what you do. I honestly, I don't know what you do here. Man. How do you, if you are an NFL player, not get vaccinated? Like, and this is the Ron Rivera, TJ Ward thing. I don't know how many people followed me on Twitter. I tweeted a heinous response from TJ Ward to Ron Rivera. So you know that Ron Rivera had cancer. And he went through chemo treatments. It's one of the best stories in the NFL over the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Cancer-free now, like just a great, great story. Well, of course, going through chemo means that you are immunocompromised and that you are more susceptible to the impact of coronavirus. Ron Rivera voiced displeasure that the majority of his Washington Redskin roster, Washington football team roster, forever going to make that mistake, the majority of the Washington football team is not vaccinated. Ron Rivera was very frustrated, beyond, quote-unquote, beyond frustrated, Rivera said, that much of his Washington football team is unvaccinated. TJ Ward, the former safety Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos, tweeted at Rivera, quote, "Just park the riverboat. His health is beyond that of COVID. Maybe it's time to let it go. Don't blame the players for your lifelong health decisions." And then TJ Ward went on to talk about how he knows cancer and lifestyle choices that you make and on and on and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And never mind that Ron Rivera is a guy who but beyond the fact, and I'm trying to parse my words, beyond the fact that Ron Rivera is a really good human being.
Yeah.
Beyond the fact that Ron Rivera is one of the most liked figures in the NFL. That TJ Ward, who has regularly made poor life decisions like taking a beer mug and slamming it on the face of a bartender, it's amazing to me that TJ Ward is questioning Ron Rivera's lifestyle and life choices, and that's why you got cancer. Never mind that this is a cancer of the neck and collarbone, and that this is not something that, well, he drank too much. That this is not something that when you have lymph node cancer in your neck, you know, this isn't about smoking.
It's stupidity out of TJ Ward. That's what it is. It is absolute stupidity, and I think that he's making a fool of himself, you know? And I think that this whole vaccination thing with players is very straightforward, and I appreciate it out of the NFL. I really do. I think that, you know, the science is here. It has told us exactly what's what with vaccines, and I think at the end of the day, if you're someone who's questioning it, you know, and you're an NFL player, you don't really have you're in a luxurious position as a professional athlete. So you're traveling around, you're seeing new people every single week. Like, you're doing more than the average American would, and this is what nobody talks about with this whole NFL thing. Everyone wants to say, oh, well, everybody has their rights. It's their body, their right. Well, at the end of the day, that's all fine and convenient and everything, but at the end of the day, for professional athletes, you're in a very gifted position. So yeah, if it means you have to get a vaccine, I think you should be required to get it. I really do.
By the way, Grillcock's up to 7.
Bro.
He says, I think I have 9. No, you have 7. Yeah, it's amazing. Like what Shane says, what do you know about cancer, idiot? Well, I know that the cancer that Ron Rivera had was sun cancer. It was skin cancer from sun exposure.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with, oh, you smoke or drink, like TJ Ward tried to say. Like, this is terrible. And my point is, if you're a member of the Washington football team and you choose not to get vaccinated, I am surprised at you.
Yeah.
I am amazed by it. You know, like yeah. I don't know. Jeremy Bolton says, I have the right to drive 120 on the freeway. My body, my car, my choice, right? Well, unless you kill somebody, which is exactly the point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to get into the should you get vaccinated conversation. In the NFL, I think it makes all the sense in the world, no matter your beliefs on vaccinations. It's $1 billion industry. You're risking millions and the wealth of future generations in your family. You're willing to risk CTE, but you won't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like think about the cause and effect here. What's more of a risk to you, CTE or the vaccination? Right? A broken leg or the vaccination? You play football for a living, you're going to get injured. You're going to make millions to do that. You're going to take care of future generations in your family, like generational wealth. And you're not going to get a free vaccination. To me, there's just not a lot that makes sense in that.
Yep.
Like I don't know. Real quick on the Simone Biles thing, because this is something that I'm really passionate about this. So you guys know the Simone Biles story by now, right? You know that Simone is arguably the greatest gymnast in the history of American sports. You know that Simone pulled out of the Olympics yesterday morning, about 24 hours ago. Team USA lost to the Russian Olympic Committee, which, by the way, is Team Russia. Just because you don't play their anthem doesn't mean they're not from Russia and they're not Team Russia. Vladdy won, you didn't. And at the end of the day, you know, the final announcement from Simone herself was that she was dealing with mental fatigue. And she just couldn't process her thoughts anymore. And that what happened was she came out, warmed up in the morning, and she said when she initially was done warming up, something felt wrong, but she was fine with it. Okay, I'm going to go back to the hotel. I've got 5.5 hours. I'm going to go back to the Olympic Village, excuse me. Simone had 5.5 hours between the time practice ended until she had to compete. Simone Biles went back to the hotel and could not take a nap. She could not sleep. And she was uneasy, and she was fighting anxiety, and she was crying, and she said she felt like she just couldn't control her mind, and that her biggest fear was failure, and that she did not want to let her team down, so she withdrew from the Olympics and was there to cheer for the men's team and the women's team. And I thought it took a certain level of courage to admit that, because she wasn't making excuses that, hey, when she qualified for the U.S. Olympic team, she had broken toes on both feet. She wasn't making excuses that, you know, hey, look, I've had kidney stones. I've had all kinds of physical ailments over the last year that is, you know, prevented me from performing at my highest level. You know what? I just don't want to lose, so I'm going to withdraw. She straight up said she was dealing with mental issues that didn't allow her to compete. What else does she need to say, and what else do we need to say beyond, hey, thanks for everything you've done for our country. You've won a ton of medals. You've brought us incredible glory. Let's all walk away from this. That's what it should have been. That's where it should have ended.
Mm-hmm.
But my feeling is that there were a lot of mainly and almost unanimously white commenters in the news. And I'm trying not to give them credence like experts or pundits or journalists, because they're not. And I'm going to play this one bite by a gentleman named Charlie Kirk, who is a radio host and a guy that founded a group called Turning Point USA. Huge Trump supporter, huge conservative, who has always straddled the line of decency. Well, he's no longer straddling that line because he said this about Simone Biles.
Today it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do something stupid and get hurt. It's just not worth it, especially when you have like 3 amazing athletes that can step up to the plate and do it. So you know who has the gold medal? Russia. I have to go look at these 4'11" Russian Olympians chewing on their gold medals, smirking at the Americans. I'm not okay with that. But honestly, that's where we're headed. We are raising a generation of weak people like Simone Biles. If she got all these mental health problems, don't show up. She's an incredible athlete. Of course she's an incredible athlete. I just said she's probably the greatest gymnast of all time. She's also very selfish. She's immature, and she is a shame to the country. What kind of person skips the gold medal match? Who does that? It's a shame to the nation. You just gave a gift to the Russians. Don't show up. If you're not ready for the big time, we got thousands of young female gymnasts that would love to take the place.
That's Charlie Kirk. And the thing that is killing me is that Charlie Kirk clearly has not done his homework here. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter. But when you call Simone Biles a sociopath, which means she's selfish and has no ability to diagnose who she is and where she is in society, and I think you don't know much about Simone Biles. When you say that she's selfish and she just couldn't handle the pressure, I think you don't know much about Simone Biles. She's one of the most decorated and most successful gymnasts of all time. And I think you don't know much about her fight through USA Gymnastics. One of the things that she has refused to openly talk about is her experience with a guy named Larry Nassar, who was the doctor for many Olympians, including the gymnastics team, who is now in prison for molesting most of the female athletes that he took care of, including Simone Biles. And she talked about openly leading up to the Olympic trials that the biggest problem for her had been the anxiety that she felt over coronavirus because it delayed the Olympics for a year, and she wanted to be done with the United States Association of Gymnastics. She did not want to be part of this. She wanted it to be over last summer. And it was a real internal mental struggle for her. She had serious injuries over the last year. And she's had trouble processing the abuse that she's taken at the hands of Larry Nassar. She's not commented on it since she withdrew. Did not use it as an excuse. But a former gymnast who knows Simone that she's very close to tweeted about it and specifically said she's dealing with the trauma of Larry Nassar. And Simone Biles retweeted that and liked it. And for guys like Charlie Kirk to call her weak and to say she's an embarrassment to the country, like, what are you talking about, man? This is a young woman that has given her entire existence to this country. And what do 4-foot-tall Russians have to do with anything? Like, this is so incredibly stupid and short-sighted. And
yeah, I mean, it's who we are as a country right now. I mean, you think about this, and this is guys like Charlie Kirk who are white males, who are conservatives, and who it's no secret that Charlie Kirk is right up the conspiracy theory alley. He's right up the pro-Trump, alley, all those things that we always talk about. He's one of those folks who just believes all these crazy things and thinks that he's above it. And that's really what it is. I mean, he clearly is living in a reality where he thinks this is like, that this is, an embarrassment and she's a terrible person. And it's just, that's just not the actual reality. And that's why I think that a lot of these guys who have these insane takes, are definitely reaching. They're trying to stay relevant. But B, they don't live in the same reality that we live in. And I think that's the biggest thing I take away.
Jeremy Bolton says Kirk probably didn't get vaccinated and has 5 My Pillows at home.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep.
He's that guy. It's just this was I don't usually pay attention much to, any political radio host because you just don't get much truth in it. But this was amazing to me.
Yeah.
This was particularly short-sighted.
Yeah.
I mean, this was really, really bad.
And you have people who probably listen to his show and are like, yeah, I totally agree with you, bro.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and I do agree that generationally we have not served millennials well as their parents. Having firsthand experience as a parent of a millennial, we have not served our children well. I would agree with that. But Simone Biles has gone through things that, to be an Olympian, do you guys understand how difficult that is? I mean, it is, you give your entire life to that.
Yeah.
And you make money on it, absolutely, and you're famous, absolutely. That doesn't mean that you deserve what she's gone through, or any of these Olympians gone through. All right, let's switch gears. Grocock's up to 8, by the way.
Okay, he's up to 8. We need 2 more in the next 8 minutes.
So for those of you tuning in, if 10 different people comment the word Grocock, he wins the Xbox. He's at 8. We're at $14.99. So if Grocock does not win by default, we're going to pick a name on the show tomorrow. I would think.
Yeah.
I would think. And, it's over. We're at 15:04.
Okay.
So
Grocock, bro, I mean,
you
lost. You got to keep working.
Oh, and then there's 2 more comments. Oh.
I didn't think was he racing against 1500?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize
Okay, so
that.
wait, do we give it to Grocock? Because Casey Finlinson and Dop Hop, Connor Jones. Yeah, I guess we're giving it to Grocock.
Yeah, Grocock got it, dude. I don't think that I didn't realize he was racing against 1500. I just thought
we're at 15:04.
Yeah, I thought that it was a thing where he needed to get it before the show was over, and if he didn't, then we were gonna do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we give it to Grocock then.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Grocock, congratulations. You need to DM me on Twitter, my man. I hope you have a Twitter handle. Alert, major bag alert. Grocock wins the Xbox Series S.
By the way, I just like to say that's like the first ever, on the fly giveaway we've done right there.
Ever. I think we did one with Brandon Whitesides, didn't we? Didn't we give him a PS?
That's right. With the donut thing, didn't we?
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, Grocock, you win. So
well
DM
done.
me. Congratulations, Grocock. DM me. You're on Twitter, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show, Twitter, Instagram. Just DM me your information, Grocock, and I'll.
Is he getting? Do I see applause emojis in the comments?
Yes. Everybody's happy. Jeremy Bolton says, "Nice job, man." #GOAT. See, and Grocock, this is what I don't think you understand. Is that you're like a legend on this show.
Yeah.
Simply because you were born with a Grocock.
Yeah.
Or I should say as a Grocock.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it is, we don't make it a habit to comment on other men's Grococks on this show.
HIPAA?
That is HIPAA. I believe that is HIPAA.
Yeah, I think so.
But, I mean, you're a legend on this show, so way to go. He says, I don't have Twitter. Okay, do you have Instagram? Who doesn't? Okay. Wait a minute. We may have to take this away from you.
There has to be a way for, like, if you don't, you got to be able to DM us, dude. We got to be able to get your address and, like, the shipping
Instagram or Twitter or
something.
You got it, Corey. You got to have Instagram, right?
Yeah. And if you don't have Instagram, you're going to have to make one real quick to get it done.
The Monty Show. Monty, The Monty Show, or SLC Supercars. Better get that Twitter, Grocock, Casey says.
Yeah.
Connor Jones says, Corey, get Twitter. Born with a Grocock, LOL. Yeah, true. Corey says, I'll make one.
Okay.
James Knight says, if you give this douche the Xbox, I'm out.
Wait, who said that?
Wait, he's a fellow Australian. Why are you, like, what are you doing?
Who said that?
James Knight.
Oh.
All right, man.
But was James the one who knows Grocock, I thought?
He said, well, I think he was kidding.
Oh.
I could be. Grocock really rose to the occasion. Well done. How about them Padres, Monty? Eric C. says, we were just talking about that. If they get Max Scherzer, it's over. Fat Jesus says, those of you who typed in Grocock, screw you. It is what it is.
What's an erection?
See, this show's fun. This is why we do this show. Now, by the way, we're screwed Because not only are we 6 figures into a side hustle, now we got to come up with another giveaway for 2,000.
Yeah, so now the question's got to be in the comments. What's the next giveaway? I mean,
everybody wants a smoker.
Everybody wants a smoker.
But if we do a smoker, that's only local.
Yeah, that's only going to be local.
Because I ain't mailing no smokers to Europe,
we ain't
man.
doing no mail.
The Philippines or nothing.
Yeah.
By the way, did anybody see that Jordan Clarkson's actually in the Philippines?
Really?
Hanging out with Manny Pacquiao.
Really?
Brylark says, I'm sure at this moment all the bullying in school all comes around. It is not worth it for that sweet Xbox. Yep. I'm going to guess, Corey, that you've taken some over that last name. Okay, that came out wrong. The point is,
Donnie?
Anyway, okay, let's move on because we got to go here pretty quick. What were we going to talk? Oh, Milas Kunis or iPhones?
iPhones.
Okay.
iPhones.
Cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Amazon announced over the last few days that they are not going to accept cryptocurrency as a payment form. Cryptocurrency crashed, including Doge to the
crapper
floor. Dogecoin, Bitcoin completely tanked on the news that Amazon is not going to accept Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies as payment. Should you be investing in cryptocurrency?
I just think it's too volatile, man. Like
I would agree.
What happened here is there were rumors and a bunch of smoke about how Amazon was going to start taking crypto as a payment form on the site. So, everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is going to be huge! Like this is a huge leap forward for crypto. Like this would be a game changer." But then Amazon comes out and says that it's not going to be taking crypto. So that's why I say, I understand the hype machine behind crypto. The problem is, once again, the problem I have with crypto is in order for you as an investor in crypto to be successful, you're counting on the next guy to pay more than you did. And that's the issue. Because what that leads to is a hesitancy at some point down the line for people to continue to buy it without there being any kind of backing behind it. Again, this is not something, crypto is not something that you can hold in your hand. It's not something that you can really see.
It's not tangible.
It's right now it's fairy dust, legit. Like there's nothing you can really, there are like small spot examples of being able to transact with it, but it's not like you can walk into Target and pay with crypto or Amazon or whatever, Like even Elon saying like going back and forth and being able to pay with paying for Teslas with crypto. So that's why I say I just think it's very volatile and it's not. There are just far better ways to invest your money that are time tested, tried and true over like the last 50 years.
Yep, totally agree. iPhone or Android? iPhone went bananas. iPhone sold.
Dominated,
bro. I'm just gonna double check this number before I say it out loud, because it's amazing to me that iPhone sales propelled Apple to one of the best days in the history of the company, and I'm only talking about one quarter.
Yeah,
third quarter. The company posted an $81.4 billion revenue number in Q3, 36% year-over-year jump, beating Wall Street estimates by almost $10 billion.
If you ain't first, you're last.
That's unbelievable. A record June quarter operating performance, including new revenue records based on strong unit sales of the iPhone. They went from $26 billion, which was a down number. $26 billion was disappointing to the boys on Wall Street.
Yeah.
To $39.5 billion. Services rose from $13 billion to $17 billion for the quarter. Apple has continued to grow its offerings, including music, TV Plus, iCloud, arcade, news, and fitness. That's incredible.
Yeah.
The company posted $14.76 billion in China alone. 50% increase over this time last year in China. Meanwhile, in America, they went from $27 billion to $35.89 billion, largely.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
On iPhone sales.
Yeah. And largely on the top-end models, too.
So, again, I just say, now, Mrs. Monty and I own a pretty good stake of Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is we got in late, So we're not making a whole lot of money on that yet. But if you don't own Apple, I don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd be watching Apple, and the minute it goes down, I'd buy as low as you can buy. And if that means you own 2 shares of Apple, that's great, because at some point it's going to split again, and then you'll own 4. Get into it. Get into Amazon. Amazon's a great stock. Do not buy Bitcoin. Milas Kunis.
Right.
To end the show.
Right.
Now, you know on this show that we are huge fans of Milas Kunis.
Right.
We believe that Milas Kunis is an amazing Kunis.
Right.
Milas is particularly awesome.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
This all ended last night. Milas Kunis turns out to be a dirty Kunis, and okay, that was probably too much.
Apologize to that man.
I've always been a huge Mila Kunis fan.
Yeah.
Whether it's bourbon commercials or the movie with Will Smith where it's the Bible. Oh my God.
Oh, damn.
Not Legend.
No.
Book of Eli.
Book of
Thank you,
Eli.
Mrs. Monty.
Jesus, dude. Bro.
Milas Kunis in Book of Eli.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Wasn't she in Zombieland?
No.
Yeah. She wasn't?
Mila Kunis was in Zombieland? You got to stop smoking weed.
Thought she was.
Mila Kunis was not. She was in that 70s show.
Cool.
Where she met Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Who has always been way too good looking for my taste.
I want it.
He's one of those guys where you're like, my God, he's good looking. I'd hit that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I mean, as though his name was Grocock.
Right.
Anyway, the point is, listen. So Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher got together and made the world's most beautiful baby, right? That popped out of Milas Kunis.
Yeah.
The point is...
Bunch of mini Milas.
Sorry, too far. My wife is just shaking her head unapologetically.
Are people Myron?
Yes, they are. Well, those two did an interview, for whatever reason, decided to tell people that they're dirty hippies who don't shower.
Mm-hmm.
Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher say that they do not shower almost ever, and they only wash their armpits and crotchal region.
Crotchal?
That's probably not a word. Mila admitted that she only washes her Kunis occasionally.
Yeah.
Come on, that's amazing.
Oh, my God, dude.
Mila Kunis admitted that she only washes her private parts and armpits, and she does not shower or bathe. And that she does not shower or bathe her child.
Dude.
Because it's bad for the world, and it's bad for your skin, and all these other reasons.
Why would somebody talk about this?
I don't know. She did it on Dax Shepard's podcast. And it's a good podcast. I listened to it. He's married. Isn't he married to Kristen Bell?
I don't know.
Who's very not on Mila Kunis's level.
Uh-huh.
Milas Kunis is way better.
Yeah.
The point is, okay, I really should stop.
You have to check it before you wreck it.
The point is, I used to shower every day, no matter what.
Right. It was just part of your existence.
End of story.
Right, yeah.
Then I moved to Arizona, and now I live in Utah, where we have massive water shortages. So I try not to shower more than 4 times a week. And, I wash my face, I wash my armpits every morning, like...
If you felt these balls...
And I caress my Kunis on an occasional basis when I don't shower. Anyway, the point is, I don't shower every day either. If I work out, I shower. If I sweat a lot, I shower. If I play basketball, I shower. But on the regular, if you shower 7 days a week, it's terrible for your skin. We know that. And it is incredibly damaging to the ecosystem around you. You use a lot more water than you should, etc. Okay, I'm down with that. I shower 4 days a week. Mila Kunis does not shower ever. You cannot tell me if you go to caress the soft skin on the back of her hand that you are not going to get quite the sodium taste. Like, she probably smells like salt, right? How do you not shower when you sweat?
Ugh. It's gross, dude.
Like, it's odd to me. I probably am making too much of this, but it just feels like...
It's weird.
It's odd. Like,
yeah, it's odd. It's very strange.
And this is different than, I'm a woman, I don't need to shave my armpits. This is totally different. That's HIPAA too. This is HIPAA. But the point there was a lot of that conversation. Women shouldn't have to do X because they're a woman. That's not what this is. If you don't want to wax or shave or what, okay, cool, I'm good with that.
It's just not worth it.
I'm good with that, right? You got to shower. I'm sorry. The orifices in your body require you to shower.
Right.
If you poop, you need to shower.
Uh-huh.
If you sweat, you need to shower.
Right.
Like
you do.
Like
want better fucking execution.
Do you change your
it's
underwear
not that
every
hard,
day?
dude. It's really not that difficult.
You know. James Knight says, well, as long as you look after your smoker.
Yeah.
See, that's another Kunis reference.
Yes, it is. Well done.
As long as that Kunis is clean when it's time for...
Dingers.
Dop says crunchy granola people. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. My wife is losing her mind in the background. She said, wow, okay, this got very serious. My wife says that she would not smoke Ashton Kutcher's pipe if he did not clean the smokestack.
It's just not worth it.
It's not worth it. No, it's not. But it's Ashton Kutcher as well. Okay, this is Matthew McConaughey not wearing deodorant, you smelly son of a bitch. Like, put on some deodorant. Okay, it's not... Look, it's only Mila Kunis that we're talking about because it's her Kunis and this is a guy-driven show.
People are misinterpreting what I'm saying.
But you should shower, Ashton Kutcher, Matthew McConaughey. Why do all the sexy guys not shower?
Who knows?
Right? Like, if you have a six-pack, does that exempt you from, like, water usage? I don't
That's HIPAA?
That's not HIPAA. No, it's not. The point is...
Thank you, Dax, so much. Thank you.
Shut up. The point is, I'm talking about Mila Kunis specifically because I can make overt sexual references to her name.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
And she's amazing. And I'm probably, making her out because she's hot. But the point is, dude, how often do you shower, Jake?
4 or 5 times a week. Yeah.
Okay. I want to know from the people, like, how often do you shower? Fat Jesus says she was kidnapped and brainwashed by that douche Ashton. Could have been.
That douche.
Dop Hop says dirty hippie vibes.
Uh-huh.
I almost said HIPAA. I did say HIPAA.
Yeah.
Dirty HIPAA vibes.
I think that's HIPAA.
Brylark says you're just required to make more appearances now, Grow Cock. Exactly right.
Yeah.
This is an all-time show, guys. Okay. Casey Finlinson says I shower every morning. They say if you shower every morning that your skin is not healthy because it does not allow your skin to thrive. And so you'll have more acne. You'll have more, generally your skin will not be as healthy. You'll have more chafing,
Chafing has made the show.
Well, who hasn't had chafing on their Kunis, right?
You and your mom are hillbillies.
No. It's good looking guys that with the pickup line want to take a shower with me. True. I don't know, man. I just think it's
just an oddball thing.
Shower.
Like it's so funny to me too that we get a lot of in the Hollywood industry we always hear these people who are just out there on the reservation on certain topics. There's countless examples. But this is just one of them. But it's just funny how that community tends to be very adventurous with their thinking.
Yeah. Casey Finlinson says, as a local Payson farmer, I need to shower every morning. Well, hey, some of us sweat more than others. This is why I'm glad I'm not hairy. I'm not I am not like hairy man guy. Like you have a coif hanging out of the top of your shirt. Like I don't.
Right.
Like you got a haircut the other day and the guy literally asked you if you wanted a back trimmer.
No, he didn't. No, he did not.
He didn't.
I think that's HIPAA?
That is... Is the HIPAA drop ever going to get old?
No.
It's not. Has Growcock sent you a message?
Yeah, let's see.
I don't know.
By the way, what's the deadline for Growcock? Is it by the show tomorrow morning? Right?
Yeah, come on, dude.
Don't mess this up, dude. Like, you did really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Growcock will on this show right now.
You did great in the polling. You even won the primaries, and now, you won the election. So,
oh, Fat Jesus, why? Fat Jesus says, I shower 7 to 20 times a week. It's where I pleasure myself. Okay. Those forearms are amazing. Anyway, no, I'm done reading comments.
So wait, to confirm, did he message you yet?
He has not messaged me. Growcock has not messaged me.
Okay, by the show tomorrow morning, Growcock. Got to have a DM.
Yeah.
Or we're giving this thing away.
By the way, 3 people have messaged me about signs on the freeway here in Utah saying don't get vaccinated.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
the first guy who did it.
The digital signs?
Did my DM go through because I sent it? No, Corey Growcock, I've not seen your DM. Bryce Larkin was the first one to send me this. In Farmington, there's a huge pedestrian overpass, and it says vaccines cause injury and death. COVID-19 vaccines makers are exempt from liability.
I'm not going to do something stupid and get hurt.
Okay. That's the kind of stuff that's odd. Yeah. Marky sent me, his name is Marky, you can't make it up.
Yeah.
Marky sent me that same thing as well.
Okay, again.
Grocock, I did not get your DM. By the way, Grocock, put your Instagram handle in the comments so people can follow you.
Are you sure it's Instagram?
I don't know. He said he didn't have a Twitter.
Okay.
I don't see, did he get a request? Let's see. Oh, yeah, now it came through. Hey, his name is, okay, I don't know how to describe this. His name is really sophisticated. It's Corey Grocock. He said it's Grocock. It's Corey Grocock. Okay. Oh, my God, I won. Thanks so much. And he sent a photo. Oh, there he is. He sent a photo.
Let's go.
He sent a photo, and it's topless.
Wait,
with
what's
an
that
afro.
jersey in the background? What's the jersey in the background?
It's a Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jersey.
Let's go, boy. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
There we go.
Corey, you have to.
You got to post that. Yeah, dude, you're a legend, bro.
Yeah.
You're an absolute legend.
Okay, Corey, do I have your permission to tweet this photo of you out?
That's an absolutely legendary photo, dude. Seriously.
It is a legendary photo.
Don't post it without his permission, but that is a legendary photo, dude.
Grocock, you're a legend, bro.
Seriously.
All right, play the music. Right. Thankfully, the sign was gone this morning, but it stunned me, Brylark said. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Grocock sent a message through MySpace. Yes, he did. Yes, Fat Jesus. Brylark said, I'm telling you guys, all-time show. Corey Grocock said, yes, I can post that picture on Twitter.
Dude, you've got it, dude. Everybody go to the Monty Show on Twitter and check out this photo. He's about to post it. Absolutely, legendary photo.
By the way, then you got to DM me your address, so I'll send you a thing back. You have my permission, he said. Okay, great.
Okay, cool.
All right, tomorrow on the show, we'll get you ready for NBA Draft. It is tomorrow night. I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow because my wife will not let me talk about. This is going to be hard
to top. This was a great
My
show.
wife will not let me talk about Milas Kunis again tomorrow. It will be forbidden. So until tomorrow, say, I love you, Milas Kunis.
I love you, Milas Kunis.